So hello and welcome once again to another reflection for this Maundy Thursday. Such an important and special day in church. The day when we gather to remember Jesus celebrating the Last Supper with his disciples. The day when we gather to think about that command to love one another just as Jesus loved his disciples. Today is also the day when priests and deacons would renew their ordination promises in the cathedral. So it's a day of mixed feelings for so many people. And as we are aware of the worsening number of people falling ill with coronavirus, and we're aware of more and more people mourning the death of people they care about, we need to acknowledge that today is a difficult day, a day where we are very much aware of both Jesus' love for each and every one of us, but also the pain and suffering that he is going to endure in the next few days as we remember the end of Holy Week, but also the pain and suffering that is part of our world. So, let us pray. All that I love into your keeping, all that I care for into your care. Be with us by day, be with us by night. And as dark closes the eyelids with sleep, may awaken to the peace of a new day and a new creation. In Jesus Christ. Amen. And the collect for today, Maundy Thursday. God our Father, as Jesus broke bread and shared wine with his disciples the night before he died, may we proclaim his death until he comes again, and nourished by his presence, may we be united in his love, who lives in the dance of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. So as we reflect on that very familiar story of Jesus kneeling to wash his disciples' feet, I think it's important that we acknowledge that we will never know the shock and absolute disbelief of the disciples when Jesus, their Lord, their Master, their friend, with such profound simplicity, knelt with a bowl of water and started to wash their dusty feet. We'll never understand or be able to acknowledge or experience their initial response. A response, I suspect, that even for a brief second was one of silence, the silence of bewilderment at such a deep act of selfless giving, a deep act of service, a deep act of compassion. And I want to just dwell for a few minutes on that silence of service, of what Jesus did when he simply knelt, took his disciples' feet, and gently started to wash them. So often we are more comfortable to offer to do things for others than we are to accept what is actually offered to us. When we do things for other people, we are in control, which means we can distance ourselves from the reality of the situation in which we are part of. Doing things for other people means that we can keep a distance from who we are. So allowing someone else to help us actually takes humility. It takes courage, and it takes a willingness to allow someone else to see us as we are. It takes a willingness to allow someone else to see and sense our vulnerability. To allow someone in to help us is to allow someone close to our inner being, our inner core. Jesus, in washing his disciples' feet, was ministering to each and every one of his disciples. And they allowed him to do that. And in that silent acquiescence of accepting Jesus' service to them, they allowed him to minister to them. So on this Maundy Thursday, when we're not able to gather together, when we are not able to share that Last Supper together, are we willing to let Jesus wash our feet? Are we willing to be vulnerable and allow Jesus to touch those parts of us that are bruised and battered? Are we willing to allow his healing touch to transform those hidden scars? And I want to end by sharing a poem. It's called Foot Washing. Jesus knows my shame and humiliation, captured in such simple words. If you do not allow me to wash your feet, you are not my disciple. Each spoken word twists the knife a little more as I retreat within. Every splash of water and rustle of towel rubs salt into my wounds. I love you, Lord, but in this place I feel too unsafe to let you in. Jesus knows the feet that I know too well, which hold me hostage. He knows the feet I could never wash or tenderly dry. I cling to the present with clenched fist and steely determination. I endure each unwelcome echo and refused to be dragged back. In this moment I'm surrounded by perfect love that needs no words and makes no demands. Jesus knows the silence of the victim and the humiliation of insult. He knows the pain of broken promises, the desolation of abuse. In the silence, I hear that still voice at my centre, murmuring, "You are my beloved child. Let's sit together, you and I, and rest. Stay and watch. We are companions on this journey. Let us simply be."